Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Hodge. Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, a bold new peace plan for Gaza. President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu are on board, but will Hamas agree? We're live in Washington, D.C. with the latest. Plus, a night of giving on Saturday as hundreds gathered for the Superior Health Foundation Gala, raising tens of thousands of dollars for local nonprofits. And Operation Winter Wear is back in Marquette, offering free coats for adults and kids. We'll have the details. Your 19 News at 6 starts now.
Live from the UP, this is WZMQ 19 News at 6.
Kelly, good evening. It didn't really feel like fall out there today. Pretty good sun.
Yeah, good evening, Kevin. I think we're all a little confused on kind of the wardrobe for this time of the year. We're not quite embracing the true temperatures of fall. Yeah, it was very hot today, and we'll still have the sunshine on most of our sky cams, and you can see here nice and clear skies for today. Wow, summer-like temperatures, 81 for Marquette, 81 also for Ironwood, Iron Mountain, 66 to Manistee, but still, that's not that bad with one of the coolest temperatures across right now. So we'll keep the warmth going, not too warm for the rest of the week, but still not quite ready to transition into fall. I'll have all those details in just a few minutes.
Kelly, thank you very much. At the White House today, President Donald Trump sat down with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss a new comprehensive Gaza peace proposal being pushed by the administration. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Brendan Scanlon is live at the White House this evening. Brendan, good evening. What's in the proposal, and is Israel on board?
Hey there, Kevin. Good evening to you. Well, according to the White House, the 20-point plan calls for Gaza to be a, quote, de-radicalized, terror-free zone that does not pose a threat to its neighbors. The proposal, which has been agreed to by Israel, promises an immediate end to fighting and massive redevelopment with international aid. In the proposal's early stages, Israeli forces would pull back, hostages are returned within 72 hours, and in exchange, Israel releases thousands of Palestinian prisoners, including women and children. Hamas fighters who commit peaceful coexistence and to peaceful coexistence and to decommission their weapons will be given amnesty. Members of Hamas who wish to leave Gaza will be provided safe passage to receiving countries. Gaza would be governed by a temporary non-political Palestinian committee overseen by an international board of peace led by President Donald Trump and other global leaders. A U.S.-backed stabilization force would secure borders, prevent weapons smuggling, and train Palestinian police. Hamas and other militant groups would be barred from politics, all tunnels and weapons factories destroyed, and an internationally funded buyback program would help remove arms. The plan also outlines a special economic zone to lure investment and jobs and calls for interfaith dialogue to promote coexistence. Long-term, it suggests a path toward Palestinian self-determination, but only once the reforms are in place, while also guaranteeing, of course, Israel's security and protecting the Abraham Accords. So far, only one party is on board with the proposal. If Hamas does not agree, President Trump said Israel will have the full backing of the U.S. to, quote, do what you have to do.
But if Hamas rejects your plan, Mr. President, or if they supposedly accept it and then basically do everything to counter it, then Israel will finish the job by itself.
And Kevin, there are still, of course, many questions. President Trump nor Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu didn't take any questions after a brief press conference following their meeting. Now, there are still a lot of questions, like how does Hamas feel about this proposal and how long do they have to provide an answer? Now, that was not the only high-stakes meeting today here at the White House. President Trump is also meeting with members of Congress, with leaders from both parties to try and see if there's any hope of salvaging a deal before the government shuts down at 11:59 tomorrow. It appears unlikely because Democrats are standing firm on providing health care protections, whereas Republicans are really just trying to push a clean continuing resolution AKA also known as a short-term spending plan. So they are meeting right now. We're going to see if anything results, but we're going to continue to follow the latest on a potential shutdown. Again, tomorrow at 11:59. That's when they have to strike a deal by, does Congress. So we'll be continuing to follow that throughout the day. But for now, reporting live at the White House for WZMQ 19 News, I'm Brendan Scanlon. Kevin, back to you.
Brendan, thank you very much, as always. More than 400 attendees from across the region came together in style on Saturday at NMU's Northern Center for the Superior Health Foundation Gala. Now, in its 14th year, the evening raised at least $80,000 for two vital local nonprofits, Trillium House and the Mariucci Family Beacon House. With dinner, dancing, a silent auction, and a golden ticket raffle, the night was both meaningful and festive. Beacon House CEO Mary Tavernini Dowling says the help they receive is priceless.
We have the privilege of offering comfort in so many ways, and that's only possible with the help of the donations that we receive. And Superior Health Foundation is, again, plays a very, very huge role in that.
Funds raised will help build a new kitchen at the Beacon House and fund Trillium House's Care Fund. Operation Winter Wear is back in Marquette, providing warmth to those in need this fall. The outreach, hosted by Silver Creek Church and Silver Creek Thrift, offers free, new, and gently used coats for adults and children. Distribution runs October 15th through the 17th by appointment only on the first 2 days, with walk-ins welcome that Friday from noon to 3. You can schedule appointments with Silver Creek Church during business hours Monday through Thursday.
And so what we're looking to do through Operation Winter Wear is meet the needs of people that are in our neighborhood that we may not know even have a need. But by having this event, they're able to respond and say, hey, that's something that I can use, something that will help my family.
Operation Winter Wear helped give away over 700 coats during last year's drive. Your first warning weather forecast with Kelly Rowland is after the break. Plus, we see how the leaves in Marquette County are beginning to change. And later for Life in the 906, Jim Konski gives us his thoughts on all the changes he's seeing. We're back in 2 minutes.
Now, WZMQ TV 19 First Warning Weather with meteorologist Kelly Rowland.
Welcome back. We are in this week where we're closing off September and entering October, and it's been fall for a few days, but it definitely felt like summer. We did hit a high temperature of 82 degrees. The normal high temperature for today, by the way, is 60 degrees, and the record was 77, so we shattered that. The last time we hit 82 degrees here in Marquette was August 12th, so it's a real callback to the middle of summertime, and we're still holding on to warm temperatures right now. I'm sure you can feel it outside, and if you haven't been outside yet today, please get out and enjoy, because we will be wishing for these types of temperatures very soon as we get into the deep fall and early winter. So 81 for us in Marquette, only 1 degree below what we hit today, the high temperature new record. 81 out to Ironwood and Iron Mountain, 66, still comfortable for Manistee. So it is not only a comfortable night for everyone, but it is very summer-like. The winds are calm, it's dry, it's sunny. It almost feels like you should be heading back from a day at the beach or the pool or any summertime activity, even that 4th of July party. I mean, honestly, so we're nice and clear on the radar. And for the week ahead, most of the futurecast will be clear of rain. We'll see clouds come in and out here, so I'll just keep advancing the time and you can take a look for yourself. Not really going to be tracking a major rain system by any means. I still have the rain chances at about a 10-20%. That's just because we live near big bodies of water. So sometimes with that cloud cover and moisture, you might get a stray raindrop or two, but consider yourself lucky if you do get any rain this week. We're not going to see a lot of it, but thank you to our news director, Ken Baynard, for this beautiful picture of the fall foliage out into Lake Michigamme. This is exactly in the place where we are at the peak, that red right here. It was taken, of course, right here. So these are the types of views you can see if you get on out there and enjoy. We're starting to see more of the dark oranges and the reds here, so take advantage of it. We're getting closer and closer to everyone pretty much being at near peak or at peak, and we would love to see the pictures. Thanks for all of the lovely pictures so far. So that's for fall foliage, but of course a dry stretch will impact the fall foliage. It helps that a lot of us are at the peak right now, though, still seeing those vibrant colors. You could also see the International Space Station, a nice viewing time, about 4 minutes at 8:55 p.m. Eastern Time. If you look from the west to the south, it'll have a maximum height of 16 degrees, so it's going to stay fairly close to the horizon, but with mostly clear skies on the way for tonight. We're looking good to possibly see that International Space Station. Just really quickly on what's going on with Umberto and Imelda. This is actually good news for the United States. They're starting to veer out to the east. They're trying to find the moisture in some other way because they're not quite getting it from each other. We'll likely see Imelda turn into a hurricane and Umberto fizzle out into a 3 and a 2, but we will keep an eye on it. Summer-like conditions continue for most of this week. Lower 70s, mid 70s. We'll even push close to 80 degrees to kick off the weekend. Mostly cloudy, but still a nice dry stretch ahead.
Kelly, thanks again. As we move into October, the fall colors seem to be taking their time this year. The reds, oranges, and golds have started showing throughout the UP, but with recent weeks of warmer weather, anticipated peak color times have been slightly delayed. Forested communities along the Great Lakes will typically see the most color about a week after those inland due to lake effect temperature differences. This includes places such as Gwynn, seeing a lot of their colors already, while Big Bay is still looking very green.
I definitely thought that we were going to get fall pretty early because we did have that cool down and you saw the colors start to pop right away. But now that it's warmed up, I think that the colors are going to go into October before they're in full swing.
Colors throughout Marquette County are estimated to peak between October 6th and the 10th. Coming up next on Insights, we're getting our monthly update from the Iron Ore Heritage Recreation Authority. That conversation's in 2 minutes. Oh, hello, Ken. Bob, can we get a mic check from you, my friend?
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You're watching WZMQ 19 News, live and local, with Kevin Hodge.
Welcome back, everyone. As we get deeper into fall, the Iron Ore Heritage Recreation Authority is continuing to work on their projects in the area. Here with the details is Trail Administrator Bob Hendrickson. Bob, always good to see you, my friend.
Thanks, Kevin.
Well, give us the update. What's going on?
Yeah, well, we had a great summer, I feel. Got a lot of maintenance projects done. We didn't get out to lengthen the land, but that's something that I'll be doing next year. But we are focusing on this piece of property that we acquired last year through a Michigan grant, our trust fund grant. We're titling it the Koski Wood Project, and we're collaborating with the NTN to develop a single track on it. So the trail itself, the majority of that property is in Marquette Township, with a little bit of it coming into Negaunee Township, but it basically parallels the Iron Ore Heritage Trail on the way, and the trailhead will be, the access to the trail will be close to where the railroad viaduct comes over the trail.
Okay.
So it's 176 acres. It was purchased from Carol Schwemman and Joyce Britton. Their father had it for over 80 years as hunting land. It's going to be one of those pieces of property after like 30 to 50 years out. It's going to be, I think, a lot of development around it. And it's going to be a really premier green space for the public.
Sure. Can you tell us more about the property itself? Like, what would people see if they were to wander in there?
So what we did, so we have a catalyst grant from the Michigan Trails and Greenways Alliance. And what we're doing is basically developing a stacked loop system. So once you get into the property, there'll be a series of loops that you can come and walk out on. A beginner loop to start out with, and an intermediate loop, and then a more advanced loop. So you can do combinations of it or do others. The primary purpose of it to start out would be for hiking, trail running, mountain biking, just wood exploring. And then, as things develop, we'd hope to be able to start including some winter activities, snowshoeing, backcountry skiing. It is fairly close to the trail, and also the community is there too. So right now we're asking for public input on it. On our Facebook page, we have a link to a short survey of people's proximity to it, what they'd like to see there, how they'd like to be interacted with on it. And they can fill that out. That'll be open until Friday. We'll take that public input and then work with the NTN to start putting the plan forth, doing the primary layout of it next summer, and then 2 to 3 years out, we'll have some shovels in the dirt and getting things moving.
All right, excellent. Yeah, I'm sure it's a long process when you got a project like that. Any other projects you're working on right now?
Right now, we're pretty much finishing up our ORV work in Tilden, Ely, Humboldt, and Republic. We did a lot of gravel this year, which was something that's needed on a lot of the sandy sections, especially in Ely and Humboldt, when trying to build up that trail grade. The eventual goal is to get to the point where we can start putting fine aggregate on it, so it becomes smoother and easier to ride on for everybody. More durable in that fact too. So right now we are concentrating on the infrastructure in there too, because we have a lot of culverts. They're either partially broke or failed or need repair. So we'll be doing that work before we do a lot of the surface work on it.
Gotcha. And I know you usually like to talk about trail etiquette when you have you on, Bob. Have people been behaving out there?
It sounds like it, yeah. So it's been interesting. We're going to see what comes out of the Marquette City Task Force for e-bikes.
Okay.
We'll be presenting, the trail groups will be presenting this Thursday to them. They'll be formulating their plan, reporting to the Marquette City Commission at the end of December. I think a lot of people have their attention to this because it has been not just a city Marquette problem or issue, but also a statewide and nationally. Everybody's trying to figure out how do you introduce these vehicles onto a non-motorized or a mixed-use pathway, which is not designed for that kind of speed and that. So it really does come down to etiquette. Like we always say, when you're approaching other trail users, give them a warning. Slow down, just be courteous, and it's not a highway, it's a trail, so you want to use it in that fashion.
Makes sense to me. Bob, always a pleasure having you on, my friend.
Thanks, Kevin.
Good to see you.
Yep.
And tomorrow we're talking with an organizer of the Just Believe Bike, Walk, and Run taking place this Sunday. Those details only on 19 News Insights. Still to come on your 19 News, Jim Koski gives us his thoughts on all of the changing fall colors, and later from Cracker Barrel's rebrand backlash to Jaguar ditching its iconic cat. Companies are learning the hard way how fast social media reacts. But first, here's your Yoopers United volunteer opportunity of the day. Feeding America West Michigan is heading to Ishpeming this Thursday with their mobile food pantry. There are multiple duties available, including setting up, packing boxes, registering clients, parking lot detail, and more. Again, that's October 2nd starting at 8 a.m. in Ishpeming. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We talked about it earlier. The leaves are starting to change. Jim, what are your thoughts on the changing colors, my friend?
Well, you know, Kevin, to quote some old guy who once wrote a thing or two, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. As you had mentioned earlier, we're beginning fall color season here in the UP, the time when our trees light up in polychromatic majesty before settling down to their long winter's nap. I know that for a lot of Upers, this is their favorite time of the year. I also know that the hordes of tourists we get who spend their days gawking at the colors sure do think it's spectacular. And you know what? It really is. For the next few weeks, the most important places in the UP won't be Marquette or Houghton. Nope, instead, the center of Upper Michigan will be places like Brockway Mountain Drive, Lake of the Clouds, County Road 510, or the area around the Cut River Bridge. Those are the places that really light up with reds and oranges and yellows, although, in all honesty, I don't think there's a single place in the UP where you won't be able to see colors of some kind. But then, it's gone. The colors fade, the leaves fall, and we're left cursing the cleanup job in our front yard, bemoaning the fact that for the next few months, the only colors we'll see are the typical UP winter palette of gray, light gray, and dark gray. And if we actually happen to get snow this year, maybe a little yellow thrown in for good measure. But for the next couple of weeks, enjoy it. Much like the brightest star right before its death, Mother Nature gives us one last gasp of life in a supernova of colors. So before you start cursing the fact that winter's on the way, but before it gets here, you have a humongous job of raking your front yard ahead of you, spend a few moments enjoying the colors that come with this special season. After all, with the winters that we usually get around here, we deserve every single shade of red and orange and yellow that Mother Nature can throw at us. I'm Jim Koski, and that's another slice of life in the 906.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. Is there anything in particular you do to check out the colors every year?
It was funny that Bob Hendrickson was right here because I always take a ride up the Iron Ore Heritage Trail. You go under a tunnel of reds and golds and you're just thinking, this is so cool.
Fantastic, Jim. Thank you very much. And don't forget to join Jim weekday afternoons on Q107 WMQT. Culture wars have pushed products off the shelves and into the political fray. From Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle ad to Cracker Barrel's About Face, companies are getting instant feedback if theirs is a love it or leave it branding move. Christiane Benavides takes us inside a marketing class where students are watching the effects play out in real time.
Inside this classroom at Florida International University in Miami, senior Justin Jean-Baptiste and fellow social media marketing students are examining how company branding or rebranding can quickly go wrong.
Cracker Barrel.
Today's case study, Cracker Barrel's recent rebrand fail.
It's more of an old-timey feel, like nostalgia. With the rebrand, I feel like they were kind of leaving that behind.
The backlash quickly blew up on social media.
Facebook and LinkedIn.
FIU Associate Professor Nancy Richmond says it's a sign of the times.
It used to be with branding with more traditional media that you would have about a month in order for a brand to be released, right? And now if you're trying to rebrand, it's immediate with social media.
It's not just Cracker Barrel that's been caught up in controversial rebranding. The conversation got pretty catty when luxury car brand Jaguar decided to eliminate the large cat from its logo and release an entire ad without even showing a car.
They had a complete rebrand with both their logo and with their vehicles. It didn't work very well.
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans.
On the flip side, American Eagle's Sydney Sweeney ad, which drew mixed reaction online, brought the company a stock bump after President Trump weighed in.
If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic.
It's not just coming up with new ideas, it's really looking at who is your target market and what is it that they really want.
That's what The Gap aimed to do with their most recent ad, featuring girl group Cat's Eye. It snagged over 400 million views on social media, and according to the company's CEO, a nearly universal positive response. Brands are now on notice. Whether they hit or miss the mark, they'll know it faster than ever before.
Now don't go away. When we come back, Kelly Rowland has our final look at weather. Stay tuned.
final look at your forecast. Hopefully you were able to get outside at some point today and enjoy the weather. We have sunshine. Not only is it look nice out here, but it feels very nice. We're 22 degrees above the normal, and we were 5 degrees above that average. So still summer-like going into tonight. Mostly cloudy though. A few clouds in here, but we can handle it. Temperatures into the mid-50s. We'll continue with those mild temperatures, continuing to push 80 degrees. Is it summer? Is it fall? I don't know, but get out and enjoy, and I'll have more in your forecast later tonight.
Sounds good, Kelly. Thank you very much. That's all the time we have for right now, everyone. More headlines coming your way at 11:10 Central. We'll see you then.